Research shows that companies that are data-driven are more likely to do better in tough times. And the key to understanding your data is analytics. That's what brings your data to life, and that's what we'll talk about today. Welcome to Bisnode Studio with me, Olin, Kardell. Both before and after Corona, we need to base our decisions on data. And the key to understanding your data, however, is analytics. But how does that really work? And what are the implications of a data-driven strategy in your business? Here to discuss with us today is Elsa Marcus, Engagement Officer, and Oskar Claesson, Analyst at Bisnode. A warm welcome.
Thank you.
So, Oskar, analytics is a quite broad term, so could you please help us to narrow it down a bit?
Yeah, so to start breaking it down somehow, I think a useful tool is to talk about 4 stages of analytics, ranging from the easiest one to the most difficult one to do. The first being, and the easiest, descriptive analytics, which is about showing what has happened. The second step is diagnostic analytics, which is about showing how it happened. And then thirdly, there's predictive analytics, which is about trying to predict what will happen. And lastly, it's prescriptive analytics. So when you know what will happen, prescriptive analytics is about showing how to do something. Yeah, and the big difference isn't really in the output. It's more about what methods you use. So with descriptive analytics, maybe you use only historical data, and that goes for diagnostic as well. But with the predictive, it's more about using more advanced tools such as machine learning and more sources of data.
So Elsa, you work towards clients directly. What value do you see from an increased focus on analytics?
Well, analytics can help companies to get relevant insights, and it's an amazing tool for them to use to improve their business. For example, companies can get more knowledge about their customers and the potential in their market. They can also see how their industries are and get more knowledge about their market shares. And the important thing for companies is to connect the insights from the analytics to the strategy, which also can help them to optimize their operational activities.
So, okay. And given the past months with the crisis, how has that affected analytics?
We see that some of the challenges that companies have faced in the past have accelerated during this period. The corona crisis has forced companies to push digitalization further up on their agenda, which is a shock to many companies. And now we see that it is more important than ever to be data-driven and work with data in these changing times.
So how can I, in these times, make the best use of being data-driven? What advantages does it give to me?
Data-driven organizations are more flexible and can navigate in this new company landscaping that we are seeing now. They seem to be able to adapt better during a fast-changing market. We can take, for example, companies that are easy to relate to. For example, Netflix, Google, Facebook, and so on. They offer basically the same solution to all their customers, but they can create unique customer experience by using their data and analysis of their data.
And how are companies that don't use data and analytics affected?
Well, it's like navigating without a compass. For example, if we look at market research, we see that 61% of marketeers believe that the biggest challenge is to find high-qualified leads. They have problems to see which companies that are most likely to be their next best customer. And there are also a few game changers on the market that companies need to adapt to. For example, companies do their research online, more often today, which leads to the fact that companies already made some decision before they are even contacted. And the consequences of this are that their sales activities are allocated to wrong things, which lead to too long sales cycles and low conversion rates. And this is something we can help them with analytics, because then we can see which companies are most likely to be their best customers, so they can be more proactive and optimize their organization.
Oh, super. So what added value would you say, Oskar, it has to partner up with someone like Bisnode, for example?
So I would say, it's very hard to implement a fundamentally data-driven strategy with a company. You need access to the right data, the right competences, the right software, and the willingness to invest in it. So with Bisnode, we have and we are working with data and analytics. So that's our core competence. So we can help companies take shortcuts when you want to start working with analytics. If we take an example from working with business-to-business companies, what we typically try to do is to use our clients' data along with our very big sources of data, of online and offline data, which is also an added value that we have a lot of data. And then we try to give smart insights with this. So we try to make 1 + 1 = 3.
Super. Everyone loves that.
Yeah.
So could you give us an example of one of your clients that changed their output, the way you talked about, when starting to work data-driven?
If a company sells cars, then of course it's important to know which companies will buy a new car the coming year. With analytics, we can predict 70% of those companies that will re-register a vehicle coming year. It may be as little as 3% of the market. So of course, it's important for that company to process those 3%.
So if I want then to become more data-driven, which I will be wanting after this conversation, and work with a more analytics approach, what should I think about and what are my major challenges?
So the first thing is to have a willingness to invest in it and a belief in data and analytics. And that's important whether you're partnering with Bisnode or if you're trying to invest yourself and do an internal analytics project. It's always step one to have buy-in from all the stakeholders that are invested in it. An example of how that can go wrong is when we've had cases where the business value is obvious to everyone that's involved, but there is not a strategic willingness to invest in analytics. So in the end, they didn't invest in it.
Yeah. Interesting. So if we want to sum this up, could I have a tips list of the best things to do to succeed in this, Elsa?
First of all, you need to define what you like to achieve with analytics. Do you want to sell more to existing customer, or do you want to find new customers? And when the target is clear, the analysis can bring you the answer you need to know to act correctly.
Yeah, I would say also it's about, like with anything, being inquisitive, being open to learn. And if you're partnering with the Bisnode or any other data provider, just being very inquisitive and trying to learn and understand what we're doing.
One more.
Create a 360 view of your customer and the potential in the market, so you can get a whole picture of how the situation is. You can do a misunderstanding. It can be a misunderstanding if you, for example, believe that you are very strong in one segment, but actually you could gain greater success if you process another.
Well, this was a very insightful discussion. Thank you very much, Elsa, Oskar. It's been lovely having you here. And to all our viewers, of course, Elsa and Oskar is here for more questions if you have them. And there's also more episodes of Bisnode Studio to be found on the website. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.